Hello, dear friends. I'm Alder Santos, and welcome to our channel, Baseball Legends. Mark Langston arrived in Major League Baseball in 1984 as a promising left-handed pitcher with great potential, and it didn't take long for him to live up to the expectations. Drafted by the Seattle Mariners in 1981, he quickly rose through the minor leagues thanks to his sharp repertoire, which included a blazing fastball and a devastating curveball. By the time he made his MLB debut there were already rumors that the young pitcher could become the face of Seattle's rotation. In a franchise still searching for its identity, Langston brought immediate hope to the fans, showing a maturity and poise uncommon for a rookie. Mark Langston is one of the most respected and enigmatic names in baseball history, and his journey through the major leagues is marked by moments of pure dominance on the mound, but also by impressive resilience that spanned his entire career. While many remember him for his victories and imposing numbers, his story goes beyond statistics. A left-handed pitcher of exceptional talent, Langston was an unbeatable force in the 80s and 90s, and his impact continues to this day, remembered as one of the most complete pitchers of his generation. But what truly makes his career a fascinating story is how he managed to stay among the league's best for so long, and how his contributions often went unnoticed, but were always essential. Watch this video to the end and discover the fascinating details of Mark Langston's career, from his surprising debut to his incredible longevity in baseball. Don't miss the chance to understand how he became a legend on the mound. His rise started meteoric, with an impressive debut for the Seattle Mariners that firmly placed him under the MLB spotlight. Over the course of his career, Langston became known not only for his dominance on the mound, but also for his ability to adapt to different situations, such as the historic trade in 1989 with the Montreal Expos, which brought the unknown Randy Johnson to Seattle, forever changing the destiny of both franchises. His transition to the California Angels in 1989, where he signed one of the largest contracts of the time, further reinforced his reputation, solidifying him as one of the most sought-after and respected pitchers in the league. However, the true strength of Mark Langston lay not just in his technical skill with the ball, but in his physical and mental resilience. With over 200 innings pitched in 9 seasons, Langston established himself as one of the most durable and consistent pitchers of his era. Additionally, his defensive skills and notable presence in All-Star games show that Langston was not just a pitcher, but a formidable presence in every aspect of the game. With 7 Gold Gloves and over 2,400 strikeouts, he built a legacy of excellence that went far beyond mere numbers. He became synonymous with professionalism, endurance, and an unbeatable mindset in baseball. Langston's story is undoubtedly one of the most captivating in MLB, and his legacy continues to reverberate to this day. In his first full season, Langston not only secured a spot in the Mariners' starting rotation, but also surprised the league by leading the American League in strikeouts, totaling 204 strikeouts. This achievement is even more impressive considering he was a rookie facing some of the most experienced and talented hitters of the time. His ability to fool batters with his curveball and challenge them with fastballs on the corners of the strike zone made him a nightmare for opposing lineups. Few rookies managed to be this dominant from the start, and Langston quickly established himself as one of the sensations of the season. His performance in 1984 did not go unnoticed. Langston finished second in the American League Rookie of the Year voting, only behind Don Mattingly, the New York Yankees hitter, which alone shows the impact he made. Pitchers rarely receive this type of recognition in their first year unless they do something extraordinary. Langston did. Besides his strikeouts, he ended the season with 17 wins and a solid 3.40 ERA, demonstrating not only explosiveness, but also consistency and control. qualities that are rare for a newcomer. However, more than the numbers, it was the way he pitched that stood out. Langston had a commanding presence on the mound. He showed confidence, knew how to use the pace of the game to his advantage, and commanded respect with his clean, focused mechanics. Many veterans praised him for his cerebral approach and how he prepared for each confrontation with a batter. He already demonstrated the profile of a true ace, someone capable of leading a team's rotation and facing the best hitters with courage and intelligence. Langston's success in 1984 also had symbolic importance for the Seattle Mariners. Founded in 1977, the team was still searching for stability and recognition. The arrival of a young dominant pitcher represented an important step in building a competitive identity. He quickly became a central figure in the franchise, drawing fans to the stadium and offering a rare source of optimism. With Langston on the mound every 5 days, the Mariners knew they had a real chance to win, which changed the mindset both inside and outside the club. Thus, Mark Langston's rookie year in the MLB wasn't just a good season for a promising rookie. It was the emergence of a special talent that left an immediate mark on the league and put Seattle on the map of competitive baseball. His strikeout leadership in his first year was a harbinger of what was to come in the following seasons. A career marked by consistency, strength, and intelligence. In 1984, Langston didn't just debut. He announced his arrival with authority. Mark Langston was the type of pitcher who could dominate an entire game without relying solely on brute strength. While he had a respectable fastball, what truly set him apart from most other left-handers of his time was his curveball. Considered one of the best of his generation, Langston's curveball had sharp movement and dropped abruptly, constantly. Fooling hitters, he was able to throw it in different situations, both to start a count and to finish with a strikeout, which made it an unpredictable and extremely effective weapon. Hitters often found themselves swinging at air, deceived by a pitch that seemed to start in the strike zone before disappearing. Beyond his curveball, Langston also knew how to use his fastball with intelligence. Although he was not the fastest pitcher in the league, he was able to reach solid speeds and, most importantly, he located his fastball with surgical precision. This combination of control and speed variation made him one of the most difficult pitchers to face. He alternated between the fastball on the outer corner and the curveball that broke away, keeping batters constantly off balance. This strategic approach was a key part of his style, and he executed it with impressive consistency. Another striking aspect of Langston's playing style was his composure on the mound. He rarely let pressure situations affect him. With a focused look and a controlled pace, Langston exuded confidence both to his teammates and to the fans. His body language suggested dominance and calm, qualities that positively influenced the defense behind him. A pitcher who controls the rhythm of the game and shows emotional strength can have a significant psychological impact on opposing batters, and Langston did this like few others. Langston was also known for his work ethic and meticulous preparation before each game. He studied opposing batters, adjusted his game plan, and constantly looked for ways to improve. He didn't rely solely on natural talent. He was a cerebral competitor who knew how to get the most out of every pitch. This commitment to technical and mental excellence helped him maintain a high level of performance for over a decade, even as the profile of batters and offensive strategies in the league changed. His ability to adapt to opponents also contributed to his dominance. Langston could attack right-handed batters with curveballs that broke away from the zone, while facing lefties with well-placed inside pitches and sudden speed changes. He read the game in real time, quickly noticing when a batter was early or late and adjusting his pitch sequence with precision. This tactical reading made him extremely difficult to decipher, even after multiple appearances against the same lineup. In sum, Mark Langston's playing style was a lethal combination of refined technique, tactical intelligence, and disciplined execution. His curveball became iconic among fans as one of the most beautiful and effective of the pre-analytics baseball era. He didn't need to be an intimidating physical presence on the mound. His talent, control, and strategic mindset were enough to dominate batters night after night. His career is a prime example of how mastery on the mound can come from both skill and the mind, and Langston excelled in both areas. Right from his rookie season in 1984, Mark Langston made it clear that he was destined to be one of the most dominant pitchers of his generation. With 204 strikeouts, he led the entire American League in this statistic, a rare feat for a rookie. His dominance over batters was evident, and his ability to generate strikeouts made every one of his outings an event in itself. The sharp curveball and well-located fastball were the perfect formula for fooling both veteran and rookie hitters alike. Langston was not only efficient, he was explosive, capable of closing innings with authority and shifting the emotional momentum of a game with a single well-executed pitch. After a slight dip in strikeouts in 1985, Langston came back to lead the league in 1986 with an impressive 245 strikeouts. More mature and even more confident, he refined his repertoire and showed greater consistency throughout the season. He knew how to exploit weaknesses in different types of batters, alternating his pitches unpredictably. What made Langston particularly difficult to face was the way he combined speed and movement, making every confrontation a mental and technical challenge for anyone at the plate. Leading the league in strikeouts in 1986 solidified his reputation as one of the league's top left-handed power pitchers. In 1987, Langston repeated the feat, again finishing the season at the top of the American League in strikeouts, this time with 262. By this point, he was feared by lineups across the league, and opposing managers frequently adjusted their batting orders to try to minimize the damage when he was on the mound. Despite the Mariners' inconsistent team performance, Langston continued to deliver elite outings regularly. It was common to see him exit games with double-digit strikeouts, even against high-powered offenses. The numerical dominance, over 700 strikeouts in 3 combined seasons, spoke for itself, but the respect he commanded on the field said even more. This early period of his career, during which he led the league in strikeouts 3 times in 4 years, was the peak of his power as a dominant pitcher. Few players, especially left-handers, had such consistency in generating strikeouts in such a short period of time. Langston showed that he was not just a promise, he was a reality. His name began to be mentioned among the best in the position, and his performance put him on the radar of multiple teams looking for a true ace. The impressive streak of strikeout leadership was not only a reflection of his talent, but also his hard work, discipline, and elite mindset. These years defined him as one of the great pitchers of the 1980s. In May 1989, one of the most significant trades of the decade took place in MLB. Mark Langston was traded by the Seattle Mariners to the Montreal Expos. The move surprised many, as Langston was still considered the top name in the Mariners' rotation, having been the face of the franchise for several seasons. However, with his contract nearing its end and Seattle's team far from playoff contention, the management decided to capitalize on his market value. In return, the Mariners received 3 pitchers, including a tall, still unstable left-hander named Randy Johnson. At the time, Johnson had great potential but had not yet solidified himself as a regular in the league, making the trade risky, but with high potential for return. Langston's arrival in Montreal had an immediate impact. In just 24 starts for the Expos, he kept an ERA below 3.00 and showed the same dominance as always, helping the team remain competitive in the playoff race. His presence gave stability and respect to the rotation, and fans quickly adopted the left-hander as the team's true ace. However, his contract was still set to expire at the end of the season, and as he intended to explore free agency, the Expos knew his stay could be short. Indeed, Langston would sign with the California Angels at the end of the year, making his time in Montreal brief, but still impactful. On the Mariners' side, the trade proved to be a turning point. While parting with Langston was difficult, acquiring Randy Johnson turned out to be one of the most brilliant decisions in franchise history. Over time, Johnson evolved into one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball history, winning multiple Cy Young awards and helping transform the Mariners into an emerging powerhouse in the 1990s. The impact of the trade was deep and lasting. While Langston continued to have a solid and respected career, Johnson's arrival completely changed the trajectory of the Seattle franchise. Therefore, that 1989 trade is remembered not only for the quality of the players involved, but for how it shaped the future of two MLB organizations. After the 1989 season, Mark Langston became one of the most sought-after free agents on the market. His years of consistency and dominance on the mound, along with an excellent season split between Seattle and Montreal, put him on the radar of several franchises willing to invest heavily in a true ace. In December of that year, the California Angels won the bidding war by offering a historic contract, 5 years worth $16 million, one of the largest in MLB history at that time for a pitcher. The signing generated significant media attention, marking the beginning of a new era for the Angels, who were aiming to return to relevance in the American League competitive scene. With Langston, the Angels not only acquired talent, but also presence and leadership. He arrived as the most important name in the rotation and immediately assumed the role of the team's ace. The expectation was that his arrival would elevate the team's level and put them back into postseason contention. The investment reflected not only his past performance, but also the organization's belief that Langston was still entering his prime. He repaid this trust with solid performances from the start, and his debut with the team was marked by a rare feat. He combined with Mike Witt to pitch a no-hitter in his first game, reinforcing the notion that the Angels had made a significant acquisition. Beyond the statistics, Langston brought stability and prestige to the pitching staff. He led by example, demonstrating impeccable work ethic and meticulous preparation. His presence allowed the Angels to build a more balanced rotation and gave the entire team confidence. Throughout the 1990s, Langston remained a pillar of the team, being selected to all-star games and continuing to post respectable seasons. Even though he didn't lead the Angels to the playoffs often, his contribution was key in keeping the team competitive and relevant. The multi-million-dollar contract, which initially set high expectations, was justified by the consistency and professionalism he delivered year after year in Anaheim. Mark Langston's debut for the California Angels in 1990 could not have been more spectacular. In his very first official game with the new team, on April 11th, Langston created a historic moment by pitching 7 no-hit innings against the Seattle Mariners, ironically, his former team. The game took place at Anaheim Stadium, in front of an excited crowd that was just beginning to get to know their new star. Langston immediately showed why he had received one of the most lucrative contracts of the time, dominating the batters with his precise curveball and surgical control. With each inning, the excitement grew, and the fans quickly realized they were witnessing something special. After 7 perfect innings, Langston was replaced by Mike Witt, a respected veteran and former ace of the team. Witt preserved the no-hitter, as he completed the final 2 innings, sealing the combined feat, only the 8th in MLB history at that time. The game ended with a 1-0 victory for the Angels, and the no-hitter instantly entered the history books. Though the accomplishment was shared, it had significant symbolism for Langston. Not only was it his debut, but the game represented the beginning of a new chapter in his career, with a rare milestone for any pitcher. It demonstrated not only his ability to dominate opponents, but also the potential of the new Angels rotation, now featuring two standout figures working together. The impact of this game was immediate and profound. For Angels fans, Langston's debut with a combined no-hitter was the confirmation that the investment in the pitcher had been more than justified. The media widely highlighted the performance, and Langston became an instant local idol. Furthermore, the achievement helped set a tone of confidence for the rest of the season, showing that the Angels had a weapon in their rotation capable of changing the course of important games. Even in the years that followed, when other great moments came, this opening game continued to be remembered as one of Langston's most iconic career achievements, a debut worthy of a true ace. Mark Langston's for All-Star game selections throughout his career are a direct reflection of his consistency and longevity as an elite pitcher in Major League Baseball. The first came in 1987, when he was still playing for the Seattle Mariners. That year, Langston proved that he wasn't just a young talent with a promising start, but a pitcher who had solidified his place among the best in the American League. With his devastating curveball and precise command, he was accumulating impressive numbers in strikeouts and innings pitched. Being chosen for the All-Star game was a validation of his performance in a league full of stars, and proof that he was already held in high regard by his peers and opposing managers. The next three selections, in 1991, 1992, and 1994, came during his time with the California Angels, proving that Langston maintained a high level of performance even after the team change and the passage of years. These appearances showed that he was not just a career flash, but a player who knew how to adapt and remain competitive throughout the decade. In 1991, for instance, he had an extremely solid season with excellent ERA and durability being a key piece in the Angels' rotation. By 1994, despite the season being shortened by a strike, his presence at the Midsummer Classic reaffirmed his reputation as one of the most respected left-handed pitchers in the league. Few pitchers were able to stay among the best for so many consecutive years, especially in a league full of emerging talent. Each appearance in the All-Star game also represented recognition not only of his statistics, but of his importance within his teams and the league as a whole. Langston was seen as a leader on the field and an exemplary professional, with a meticulous approach that allowed him to perform well even without the constant spotlight. His presence in 4 All-Star games spread over nearly a decade illustrates his commitment to excellence and the consistency of his performance. He wasn't a player who only shined sporadically. He delivered results year after year, with stability, intelligence, and technical dominance. These appearances helped cement his legacy as one of the great left-handed pitchers of his generation. Mark Langston was an example of stability and durability throughout his MLB career, demonstrating impressive endurance for a starting pitcher. He surpassed 200 innings pitched in 9 different seasons, a feat that few pitchers can consistently repeat. This level of consistency is remarkable, especially in an era when teams were increasingly cautious about the number of pitches a pitcher should throw to preserve long-term health. Langston not only filled the role of a starter, but did so in a lasting and reliable manner, establishing himself as a pillar in the rotations of the teams he played for. That Langston's durability was one of the key reasons why he was able to maintain his relevance and success throughout his career, even on teams that weren't necessarily contenders every season. This stability was one of the qualities that set Langston apart from other pitchers of his era, and his ability to maintain solid numbers in so many consecutive seasons didn't go unnoticed by coaches and front office personnel. He was a valuable asset for any team because they knew they could count on him to fill a significant portion of the rotation, easing the pressure on other staff members. His durability also had a positive impact on his teams, as it provided a solid foundation for other players to focus on their own performance. Thus, Langston not only helped his team stay competitive, but also served as an example of resilience and longevity on the mound. Mark Langston was not only an elite pitcher on the mound, but he also excelled as a defender, winning 7 Gold Glove awards throughout his career. These awards, given to the best defenders at each position, are a testament to his skill and commitment in all facets of the game. As a left-handed pitcher, Langston had exceptional control over his area and stood out for his ability to make defensive plays that many other pitchers simply couldn't execute. He was always aware of batted balls and knew when to position himself properly to make an efficient defensive play, whether it was covering the first base line or reacting quickly to a hit in the field. In addition to his technical ability, Langston had an excellent understanding of the game and a defensive instinct that was rarely seen in pitchers. His reaction time was impressive, and he was capable of making accurate and quick throws to bases, keeping runners in check and preventing tough balls from turning into advances. Langston was not the type of pitcher who only focused on his execution. On the mound, he understood the importance of actively defending his position, using every opportunity to contribute to his team's defense. His focus on preventing runs through secure defense made him one of the most complete pitchers in the league. Langston's defensive consistency was one of the reasons he was widely respected by his peers and coaches throughout his career. In the 80s and 90s, it was common for pitchers with less defensive ability to be a concern for their teams, especially when they were in contact situations. However, Langston was never a concern in this regard, and his contributions with the glove often went unnoticed by the general public but were crucial to the success of the teams he played for. His 7 Gold Glove awards highlight his defensive competence and demonstrate how he was able to balance his dominance on the mound with an unwavering commitment to defense, making him one of the most complete pitchers of his generation. Mark Langston ended his career with a solid and widely respected trajectory, remembered as one of the best left-handed pitchers of his era. With 179 wins, over 2,400 strikeouts, and 7 Gold Glove awards, he built a legacy that transcends numbers. Throughout his career, Langston was a key figure on every team he played for, dominating the mound with his blend of control, velocity, and one of the best curveballs in the league. His most notable seasons came in the 80s and early 90s, when he stood out as one of the top pitchers in the American League, leading the league in strikeouts for 3 seasons. His ability to pitch more than 200 innings in 9 consecutive seasons is a testament to his endurance and longevity in baseball. Although he never won a Cy Young, Langston's consistency and impact earned him a place among the greats in MLB history, and he continues to be recognized as one of the most complete and respected pitchers of his generation, whose accomplishments on the mound are still admired by fans and experts. Mark Langston's career is a true example of how dedication, talent, and resilience can transform a player into a sports legend. He didn't just stand out for his skills on the mound, but also for the consistency and durability he demonstrated throughout his journey in the MLB. Langston was much more than a pitcher with an excellent curveball. He was a pillar of trust for his teams and a model of professionalism. His ability to remain among the best year after year, in a league with so much talent and competition, is a remarkable achievement that deserves to be recognized as part of his legacy. His durability is one of the most admirable aspects of his career. Throwing over 200 innings in 9 consecutive seasons is a feat that few pitchers can replicate. In an era when workload management and player health have become increasingly important issues, Langston stood out as one of the few capable of maintaining such a high level of performance throughout the season. This made him one of the greatest workhorses in baseball, a rock in the rotation for his teams. His longevity and resilience turned him into a true example of how to take care of one's body and maintain a competitive level over a high-level career. Langston is also an example of how a player's destiny can change from a single decision or trade. His move to the Angels in 1989 for instance, not only transformed his career, but also had a lasting impact on the franchise. The trade that sent him to the Montreal Expos, in turn, played a key role in shaping the future of Randy Johnson, demonstrating how MLB transactions can create a domino effect that redefines the trajectory of an entire league. Mark Langston was one of the first to experience this type of change, but he adapted and thrived, showing that the ability to reinvent oneself is also part of greatness. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content, and activate the bell to receive notifications. And feel free to leave your comment. Ultimately, Mark Langston's legacy is a reminder that success in baseball isn't built solely through exceptional talents or standout performances. He teaches us that true greatness lies in consistency, in the ability to remain relevant and competitive no matter the challenges. His career of over 15 years in the MLB, marked by more than 2,400 strikeouts and 7 Gold Glove awards, is a story of overcoming obstacles, hard work, and passion for the game. Mark Langston, more than just a great pitcher, is an example of what it means to be truly unbeatable in baseball, and by extension, in life. His legacy is one that will continue to inspire future generations of players and fans for a long time. Until the next journey, dear baseball lovers,